Hey there, Guardians. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to Destiny 2 Oversimplified, the channel for new and returning players. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Revenant, which is the Stasis Hunter subclass. I'm going to be going over the 1 super, all of the abilities, the 4 aspects, and a few exotics that are key to the subclass. Starting with the super, Silence and Squall. Summon 2 Stasis commas, Silence and Squall, that you throw one after another. Silence is the first comma, and it creates a flash freeze blast that freezes and damages targets. Squall is the second comma, and it creates a stasis storm that slows and damages targets caught inside. So I'm going to go up in the air, 1 comma, second comma. This super is very aggressive with its tracking. It is great for ad clear, and it is also fantastic for boss damage as well. It was recently buffed with the launch of the final shape. Overall, a fantastic super. Standard class ability dodges here on Stasis with Gamblers to refresh your melee when you're near an enemy, and Marksman that reloads your weapon. Standard jumps, as always I recommend triple jump over high jump and strafe. You have 1 melee ability on Stasis Hunter, Withering Blade. It tosses a stasis shuriken at targets to damage and slow them. You have multiple charges of this, and it actually will bounce in between enemies. As a reminder for Stasis, anytime you see terms such as slow or freeze, you can read the description to the left and it'll describe what it does. So I'm going to toss the Withering Blade, and you see it bounces to multiple enemies. I also have another charge ready to go. Next up, we have Stasis Grenades, and you have 3 different options. The first one is a Duskfield Grenade, a grenade that shatters on impact, leaving behind a field that slows targets and freezes those who do not leave the volume. Toss it out here, and it creates a bubble around. Enemies trapped in this bubble will be slowed and eventually frozen if they stay in too long. Next up is Glacier Grenade, a grenade that creates walls out of stasis crystals to block damage and freeze targets. These walls can then be shattered for damage. Last up, we have Cold Snap Grenade, a grenade that freezes on impact and sends another seeker to find and freeze targets. Overall, Stasis Hunter prefers Duskfield Grenade, followed by Glacier Grenade. Cold Snap Grenade is a solid option, but it's more used on Warlock for the synergizing with certain exotics. The first aspect we have is Grim Harvest. Defeating slowed or frozen targets creates stasis shards. These shards grant melee energy when picked up by you or your allies. When Grim Harvest is equipped, picking up stasis shards grants stacks of frost armor. So we're going to test this out by defeating some slowed targets, and I'm going to be using Duskfield Grenade. So we're going to gather some enemies, throw our Duskfield out, and these are what the stasis shards look like. If you see on the left, I have frost armor times 5. Every time I pick one up, it goes back up to 10 seconds. 5 is the maximum that you get. Frost armor gives 4.5% damage reduction per stack, up to a maximum of 5 stacks, maxing out at 22.5% damage reduction. If using the stasis fragment Whisper of Rhyme, your frost armor has increased duration and maximum stack count, and it goes up to 36%, improved from 22.5% damage reduction. I'll have a separate video where I talk about all the stasis fragments, as there's a lot of them, and that could be linked. Next aspect we have is Winter's Shroud. Dodging slows nearby targets. Slowing targets briefly increases your class ability regeneration. Find some enemies, I'm going to dodge near them, and they're all slowed. You see they're not frozen yet, they're just slowed. You would have to dodge a second time to freeze them, or use another method such as a Duskfield Grenade, and now they're frozen. I also already have my class ability back because of the increased class ability regeneration. The third aspect we have is Shatter Dive. Activate while midair to quickly descend and shatter nearby targets on impact. On controller, this binds to your class ability or your dodge, and on mouse and keyboard, it binds to whatever you have it set to. Typically, Shatter Dive is paired with Glacier Grenade, as this is an easy way to do a lot of damage. Shatter Dive is typically more used in PvP, so in the Crucible, but you can certainly make use of it against computer combatants. So I have my class ability, I'm gonna go midair, and I dove to the ground. The final aspect is Touch of Winter, which improves all of your grenades, including Glacier, Duskfield, and Cold Snap. For Glacier, this adds a stasis crystal and changes the formation. For Duskfield, it increases the slow field size and it creates a small stasis crystal on impact. And for Cold Snap, Seekers duplicate after freezing a target and create a stasis crystal on detonation. Here's the improved Cold Snap. And the improved Glacier. So there aren't that many exotics for Stasis Hunter that specifically were made for the subclass, but there are 3 that I want to show you. The first one is one of the best exotics in the game. So these are the exotic arms, renewal grasps. Your dust field grenades have a much larger effective radius. Allies inside the dust field gain frost armor, and targets inside the area deal reduced damage. So you see, as soon as I step into this, I have frost armor, and it'll eventually go up ×5. So you can throw this at yourself, or you can throw it at enemies, and their damage to you will be reduced. This exotic is fantastic for all levels of content, including high level difficulty. Next up, we have Mask of Bacchus. This is a bit of a niche pick, but it can be pretty cool. While you have a stasis super equipped, your dodge becomes a longer range, faster moving ship that partially cloaks you during moves. As a reminder, whenever it states while you have a stasis super equipped, that means that you're using the stasis subclass or on prismatic. After shifting your stasis and arc weapons, you deal increased damage for a short time. This is what it looks like. And I have light shift for 10 seconds, which gives me increased damage for my arc and stasis weapons. The last one we have is the Bombardiers, and I've been showing off this a bit. It's not used very much, it's not a very popular exotic, but it does work specifically with stasis, as it does with all the subclasses. So this time you're going to dodge, it'll be behind the explosive, and the effect that you get with using stasis is that it slows targets. So I'm going to find some enemies, dodge near them, and the explosive actually killed them, but it also slowed them as well. And that's it for Revenant, the Stasis Hunter subclass. We talked about the one super, talked about all the abilities, aspects, and then a few exotics that you can use with the class. Stasis Hunter is really strong when paired with Renewal Grasp, but there is a noticeable drop in power when using any other Stasis exclusive exotic. There are some neutral exotics you can use, such as Star Eater Scales, but keep that in mind when you're using the same class. You really need Renewal Grasp to unlock the full potential in Stasis Hunter. If you have any questions or need any assistance with making a Stasis build, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video and you wouldn't mind liking it, I would greatly appreciate it. If this video was not to your fancy, drop a dislike, and then maybe let me know in the comments what I can do to improve in the future. Thank you so much. See you later.